like and subscribe on the way in the door, people. Today, fanboys, brace yourself. I want to talk about how great is LeBron James' basketball IQ really? And before I get into this, let me start by saying I am definitely not saying LeBron James doesn't have great basketball IQ. But what I am saying is when you compare him to Michael Jordan, even Larry Bird, how great is LeBron James' basketball IQ? Because what I believe is there's two different perspectives that you can take on the IQ thing. One of them is from an X's and O's perspective. LeBron James, from an X's and O's perspective, has great basketball IQ. But the other perspective is, I think, a bit harder to define, but I would say it's IQ from the standpoint of knowing how to impose your will on the game. And in that perspective, LeBron James definitely does not have very high basketball IQ, I would argue. First of all, let me start by saying this. Sometimes I believe LeBron James is too smart for his own good. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times when I'm watching LeBron on the court, a lot of these plays where he's standing around so much that he misses stuff. Like another player's man gets beat to the rim and LeBron James just stands there and watches the guy get a layup when LeBron James himself is about 3 feet from the rim and could easily come over to contest. But what it looks like to me is LeBron James is so busy thinking the game that a lot of times he doesn't act. He's so busy thinking about what should be happening that he doesn't participate. So yeah, that's what I mean by sometimes I believe he's too smart for his own good. And like I said, from an X's and O's perspective, yes, LeBron James is smart at knowing offensive schemes and defensive schemes and where everybody should be on the court and that kind of thing. But from an individual standpoint and from a macro standpoint on the game, to me, LeBron James has a poor basketball IQ as far as knowing how to impose his will on the game, which I think Michael Jordan was a master of. Larry Bird was a master of. And what I mean by knowing how to impose your will on the game, I'm not talking about just using your skills. What I'm talking about is Michael Jordan. Like I said, if you watch some of my Michael Jordan videos, you know that to me, Michael Jordan was in his mental prime the second three-peat. First three-peat, he was arguably in his physical prime. Or maybe I should say that was his prime as far as all attributes together. But second three-peat, his athleticism had come down some. But I think by his second three-peat, Jordan just knew how to win. And this is what I mean by Jordan's IQ. I mean, I feel like Jordan knew where everybody should be in that thing as well. But this is what Jordan understood. To me, Jordan really understood that, okay, at the beginning of the game, I need to get my teammates involved so that they feel involved and so that down the stretch, I'll be able to count on them because they feel involved. But Jordan also had the presence of mind to in situations where the momentum was swinging, he knew, okay, things is the momentum's changing or things look like they're slipping away. I need to impose myself right here. Some other things. I think Jordan understood. Well, I think he understood. I know he understood the mental aspect as far as taking the win out of the other team with stuff. Like, so here's one thing that I've heard some people say, that Jordan gambled too much on defense. And, maybe you can make that argument, but the way I see it was two things. Jordan understood that when you are constantly hounding somebody on defense, you kind of take the wind out of their sails. When you give the other team no breathing room on defense, you take the air out of the building. And then the other thing I think Jordan understood, whether he's gambling or not on defense, he understood that effort set the tone for the rest of the team. Like I said, I think Jordan understood the mental game more so than almost anybody. Like I said, I always include Larry Bird because to me, Larry Bird was the same way in a lot of ways. I don't put him up there with Jordan as far as competitiveness. Like I said, I think Jordan's the most competitive athlete we had. But I think, to me, Larry exhibited a lot of those same kind of intangible qualities. Like I said, knowing when to impose your will, knowing when to get your teammates involved. So from that standpoint, I think Jordan's IQ was unmatched. Which goes back again to when we're talking about LeBron James and the lack of killer instinct. A lot of people like to give him a pass on that. But to me, that mental side of the game is also a part of the game. It's like knowing how to make your opponent feel defeated before the game even starts. So, yeah, like I said, I think you can say LeBron James had great IQ from one standpoint, but to me, that's just one side of what basketball IQ could mean. And if I'm being honest, I think Jordan is proof of it by the amount of winning he did. I feel like the IQ of knowing how to impose your will on the game, how to control the flow of the game. Like I said, knowing that, okay, we need to set the tone early. Okay, it's been some back and forth, and now, the other team, it feels like the momentum is shifting to the other team. So, me being the greatest scorer on my team, I need to take control of this for a moment and make sure the momentum stays in our favor. And then, obviously, at the end of games, I need to make sure that we win. However that unfolds. If that means I have to do all the scoring in the fourth quarter, then that's what it means. But LeBron James doesn't have that. He does not have that. So, fanboys, yeah, I don't know what to say to you. Anyway, just another fact that you just gonna have to deal with. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. How do you rate LeBron's basketball IQ? And do you agree or disagree with me that there's more than one way of looking at basketball IQ? There's more than one way to be intelligent in going about the game of basketball. And like I said, I would argue that Michael Jordan's IQ was higher because he knew how to control the game. And at the end of the day, Basketball, just like every other sport, is about winning. You all have a fantastic day. And as always, I will see you next time. All right.